Hey you guys, this is gonna be my intro to the Power Rangers review stuff. I did one of these for Sentai, but seeing how I had no real backstory with Sentai as a series like I do with Power Rangers, this is gonna be a retrospective as well. Because, like I said, I don't have a history with Sentai, I have a history of Power Rangers. So I've been one of those people that's been there since the beginning. I was there when Mighty Morphin started way back in 93, I think is the year was. Yeah, 93 or so. And I've been in and out of the series for the most part. I watched Mighty Morphin all the way through, and I really loved it. Everybody loved Mighty Morphin when it aired the first time. Zeo, when Zeo aired, I didn't particularly like the uniforms, so I wasn't all that interested in Zeo, but I still watched it, although I don't remember anything about Zeo. I need to get the DVD of Zeo when it comes out. They're about a season and a half through Mighty Morphin on the DVD releases, so I'm planning on getting as many of them as I can. I didn't really pay attention to Zeo. I watched through Turbo when it was airing, and the same excuse for Digimon Adventure 02. I didn't know how bad it was when I was watching it until many years later when I went back and looked at it again and realized how bad it was. But Zeo, I mean, Turbo, I don't really remember much from it either, although I remember watching it though. Um, but at that point I was like, I miss Mighty Morphin. Mighty Morphin was awesome. And then In Space came on, and that's when like the Power Rangers thing was revived in everybody, including myself. Even back then when I was like, shoot, how old was I when In Space was airing? I was probably about in I was probably like in fourth grade or so when In Space was on TV. Maybe? No, I was in fifth grade because I'm trying to remember because Digimon Adventure and Lost Galaxy started around the same time. I'm trying to remember what grade I was in. I think I was in either fourth or fifth grade when In Space aired, and I even knew back then how good In Space really was, and I fell in love with In Space. And then Lost Galaxy came on, and it was pretty awesome at the same time. I did like In Space a lot more, as did everybody else. Um, and then Lightspeed Rescue came on, and I just fell in love with Lightspeed Rescue just as much as I did In Space. Lightspeed Rescue, even to this day, is one of my favorite Power Rangers seasons. That's my second favorite season next to In Space, out of the seasons I have watched. And then Time Force came on, and Time Force was awesome in its own right. And Zeo and Turbo were like obviously at that point like the two weakest seasons of the series up to that point. I mean, it was pretty obvious even to me and my brother. So when the last episode of Time Force aired, they had their typical here's a short preview of the next season that'll be starting up in the fall. I've had allergies bugging me all day, so I've had to try to stop myself from sneezing. That's what'll happen. But they showed the trailer for Wild Force, and it looked interesting, but it seemed like a bit of a letdown compared to Time Force. I mean, Time Force was like all high tech from the future, all this nonsense, and then you go to jungle animals and stuff like that, not forest, jungle animals and stuff like that, and it seemed like a big step backwards in terms of what it was about, and it just never caught my interest. So I watched the first few episodes of Wild Force when it started, and then I just dropped out. Like, I don't know why Wild Force never caught my attention, but it just didn't. Like, Time Force was so good after Lightspeed Rescue and all those. That's 4 season stretch there from In Space to Time Force was really solid. And I don't know, you had In Space, and you had like space station traveling through the blankness of space, and you had five typical humans going up against demons, and then you had time travelers, and then all of a sudden you go to jungle animals living in a plant island in the sky type thing. It just seemed like a big step backwards in terms of intensity, and it just never caught my interest. So I dropped out of Wild Force about 3 episodes in. I did come back and watch Forever Red though, because when I saw the trailer for that, I was like, yeah, I'm not missing that. So I watched Forever Red, and that was about it for Wild Force. That was the first season where I had legitimately skipped. You could kind of say I skipped Zio because I was in and out of Zio, so much so that I don't remember watching a single episode, but I know I watched it. If that makes any sense to you. So at that point, Power Rangers to me was practically dead. I was a Pokemon, Digimon, and Yu-Gi-Oh person at that point. Like, Wild Force it just seemed out there. My brother skipped Wild Force too. And then the Fox box came on, and the Fox Kid was dead at that point, and it was kind of messed up. I was never really a fan of the Fox Kids transition to the Fox box or whatever. I mean, yeah, we got Kirby, and Sonic X was a nice addition, even though looking back at it, only half of that show is legitimately good. Well, I wouldn't say legitimately good. Tolerable, I think would be the word for it. Kirby Right Back at You was a really good show. Ultraman Tigo was... Well, I'm not an Ultraman person, so I'm just not even going to start. The dubbing was pretty bad, though. I'll say that. It was pretty bad. The theme was pretty catchy, though. And the Turtles reboot show, up to this day, is probably one of my favorite things, Ninja Turtles-wise, but I'm not much of a Turtles fan either. I just kind of watch it because... So, I thought Power Rangers was done for. I knew Digimon had another season going on, which, ended up being Frontier, but once I heard the concept of it, I was one of those people that got turned off from the idea. I didn't watch Frontier, like I said, until about, 3.5 years ago when I finally sat down and watched Frontier for the first time. But it was mostly Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Kirby, Sonic X, and Team NT at that point. I thought Power Rangers was done. And I saw my brother one day watching it on Disney. I was like, what the heck is Power Rangers doing on Disney? I was like, I don't know, but it's here. And it happened to be Ninja Storm. And I was like, ninjas. Eh. I'm not much of a ninja person. So I just kind of like blotted it out again. And then when the next season aired, everybody was telling me, oh, look, Tommy's back, Tommy's back. Oh my God, Tommy, They're like hitting me with it. Like, Tommy, why is he back? And he was like, I don't know, but he's here, and Dino Thunder is awesome because of it. I didn't watch Dino Thunder either. I mean, I saw the theme song one time. I was like, yay, Tommy, and that was it. My brother watched Dino Thunder, though. And then SPD came on, and my brother fell in love with SPD, and I'm currently, 13, 14 episodes into it, and I'm pretty impressed with it myself. I'm beginning to watch through the seasons I missed, which is basically everything from Wild Force through Samurai, because I'm watching Mega Force as it airs, even though it's on hiatus right now until like early May, which would be about another week or so, maybe. I don't know how long they're gonna be on hiatus still, but it seemed like every night he had SPD on the TV, and I thought it was weird, like a talking dog and police and everything. I mean, it looked better than Wild Force and Ninja Storms in terms of concept, but I didn't really pay attention to it. And then I saw the trailer for Wild Force there after a while. I was like, I mean, not Wild Force, Mystic Force. It's like, okay, what, magicians now? Seriously? This was before I knew what Sentai was, so I thought they were just pulling these ideas out of their rear. It's like, it's interesting, but I don't know if it's going to work. And then I just started to ignore it completely, even though my brother watched every season from Ninja Storm through Jungle Fury. Uh, I didn't know what the heck a Jungle Fury was until, like, shoot, I was watching my brother watch it one day, and I was like, those suits look stupid. Even to this day, I'm not a fan of the Geki Ranger Jungle Fury costumes. They just look stupid without a belt. And the foam and the shoes look like those. They look like Crocs with Velcros. Oh my gosh. Like seriously, they look like styrofoam shoes or something. I don't know what the heck. The Geki Ranger Jungle Fury suits always bug me. Even to this day. I'm still gonna watch Geki Ranger though, I promise. But I was completely out of Power Rangers at that point. Like I was doing other stuff. I was what the heck was I doing? I was too busy playing Sonic games to care. Let me put it that way. Plus, I was in band a lot, so I had that, and I was getting into sports and everything, so all that was happening. So, I was walking through Toys R Us one day, and I saw those Mighty Morphin 2010 figure re-releases. I was like, oh my god. And then I went and looked it up later, and I saw that they were re-airing Mighty Morphin. I was like, yes, my brother hasn't seen Mighty Morphin because it was airing before he was born. This is my chance to show my brother Mighty Morphin because he loves Power Rangers right now. He's into it. This is my chance to show him how it all started. Even though he watched everything from Might in Space through Time Force, he doesn't remember any of it. All he remembers is... Actually, he doesn't even remember Ninja Storm. He remembers Dino Thunder through Jungle Fury. I mean, he never watched RPM, and I'll get to RPM in a second. But I got up the day it was supposed to start with my brother, and it was stupidly early, too. It was like 6 in the morning. And the theme song started up, and it looked like they took the Mighty Morphin theme song and put it to a very, very sloppy slideshow presentation. Like, the editing looked terrible. The special effects that they added. And then when they added, like, those still frame comic freeze things with, like, the 60s Batman-esque pow noises and everything, I was embarrassed, to be honest. Like, I didn't even know what to think. My brother was impressed with the costumes and the fight scenes and the music and all that stuff, but the editing, it was terrible. And I got up and watched maybe the first 3 or 4 episodes, and after that, I just couldn't take it anymore. Like, it wasn't that the show had aged badly, it's just that the editing was that disgusting. Like, I couldn't take it. But at the same time, I saw all these trailers for Power Rangers RPM next Sunday at 4, or like at 5, or what was it, 6 Eastern, 5 Central. I was like, 5 in the morning? What? Who the heck is gonna get up at 5 in the morning to watch a show? Even I knew that was stupid. Even though I had no idea what RPM was about or anything. I didn't even know what the costumes looked like up to that point. But it was stupid. Why the heck would they put it at that point? And I'll get into that a little bit when I start talking about RPM, which is going to be my first Power Rangers review, because I really want to review RPM because I'll explain that when I get to it. But after that had ended, I was done. Like, that was the final straw. So then a couple years or so passed. I'm about, what, halfway through my freshman or sophomore, I think it's about my freshman or sophomore year of college or so. Year 1, year 2. And my friend posted a link saying, holy crap, Saban bought the rights to Power Rangers back, and look at what they did to the theme song. I was like, oh boy. I saw from the thumbnail, I was like, suit looks okay. There we go. There we go. That's suit. That's suit. I don't know. The suits always gave me a good first impression, even from Samurai. But I clicked on the link, and I just sat there and my jaw dropped. Like, I couldn't believe it. Saban came back with this. The Mighty Morphin remix for Samurai. And everybody jumped in and watched Samurai. I didn't, though. But I had people telling me, oh man, Samurai's so awesome, Samurai's so awesome. And about 2 months later, I was like, this show sucks. Like, everybody jumped on the bandwagon first saying, this is awesome, you should watch it. And then as time went on, people were like, this is terrible, actually. Like, I don't know. I didn't pay attention to it still, but it was still pretty funny to see people's reactions change over a span of 2 months, saying this is amazing to it's okay to this makes me sick to my stomach. It was pretty weird. So then about another 2 years later, my brother got really bored for some reason and decided to look up Mighty Morphin Sentai counterpart. And this goes into what I was talking about my Sentai intro, where he found a wiki article on Zoo Ranger, and then I went and looked that up after what he told me, and I got into Sentai. And then after I had finished watching Shinkenger and my 45% completion watch through of Gokaiger, I sat down and decided to rewatch the Power Ranger seasons. I had started rewatching Lightspeed Rescue about 2 months beforehand just because I found a way to, not Netflix. I decided to sit down and rewatch Lightspeed Rescue, and it was just as good as I remember it being, so I'm glad to see Lightspeed Rescue has aged fairly well. And then Go Onger had caught my interest, and I had sat down and I had just finished watching Go Onger. So I decided to I was talking to some of my friends in like our Digimon fan group thing. We have like a Skype group call thing on Skype that we talk to all the time. And they were talking about one of the people in our group was rewatching Power Rangers, the whole series from Mighty Morphin through Samurai in anticipation for Megaforce. And when she got done watching Samurai, she listed all of her favorite seasons in order. Like In Space, Time Force, RPM was like the top three. And this kind of went from there. I was kind of disappointed to see that Lightspeed Rescue wasn't even in her top 12. And apparently I'm the only person that seems to like Lightspeed Rescue. Or something. I don't know. But RPM was like the highest listed Disney. And those two, they're like her and the Glory Cross. If you know who he is, he said RPM was like a top 3 Power Rangers season. So that was like the first one I decided to pick up. So I found a place, started downloading them. And this will lead into my review of RPM, which should be up sometime within the next 2 weeks because it's practically finals time for me right now. So this is the first chance I've had to really sit down and make a video in a couple weeks because things have been pretty busy for me lately. So after getting into Sentai, I decided to sit down and watch Megaforce from the beginning because I decided it was about time to get back into this kind of stuff. I mean, that sounds weird because Power Rangers and Sentai are kiddie things, but I'd rather be a Power Rangers fan at 21 than be a brony at 21. And before I get hate messages for that one, I don't care. I know bronies. They can deal with it. But I'd rather be a Power Rangers fan at 21 than a brony at 21, to be perfectly honest with you. But I know people much older than me who watch Power Rangers still too, so it's not that big of a deal. Shut up. Don't look at me like that. So yeah. And I've watched every single episode of Megaforce up to this point. And through the 9 or so episodes of Megaforce that we've seen, I'm just going to go ahead and throw this in here. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about the Super Megaforce stuff that's been shown and rumored and all this pizzazz. I'm fairly okay with how Megaforce has been so far. The reason why there's a lack of story is because the writers intended it to be just like Mighty Morphin, which was just a simple Monster of the Week formula and stuff. Come on, stop being runny. And it was meant to be like that. So people complaining, oh my god, the story sucks. Well, it's supposed to be like Mighty Morphin Season 1, so just go with it. Robo Knight, I haven't seen Goseiger, so I can't compare him to Gosei Knight. But he's an interesting concept nonetheless. I don't have a problem with it, but at the same time, let's just say I'm indifferent to it right now. I'm just waiting to see where they go with this before I make a full judgment on Robo Knight. And Super Mega Force stuff has been revealed. We are getting the Gokaiger suits, and I'm really happy for that because I love the Gokaiger costumes. But they're going to be used as a power-up. Basically, what's going to happen is that, and I saw a picture of this yesterday, or I think it was when I got home from gaming yesterday. I saw a picture of the Megaforce Rangers in their Goseiger suits with Gokai Silver standing behind them, and they had something in their hand. They were doing this little motion. This is obviously the Mobirate thing, and that's just what's gonna happen. They're gonna start off in their Megaforce suits, and then they're gonna like Mobirate into the Super Megaforce suits, which are gonna be the Gokaisers. Are gonna be like power-ups, which are gonna be used to unlock the powers of the Ranger keys and such. People are outraged about this. I'm like, shut up. The original rumor said we weren't even gonna get the Gokaiser costumes. And now that we have them, you're complaining about them even more, so shut up. Just shut up. I can't please you people. Yeah. I hate purists, you know. People who are so purist to Sentai that Power Rangers like scum the earth. It's not that bad, people. It's not that bad. I mean, yeah, so far out of all the Sentai seasons that I've watched, it and its Power Rangers counterpart, I like the Sentai more. But come on, In Space, Time Force, Lightspeed Rescue, SPD up to this point, they're not terrible at by any means. They're really, really good seasons. So just stop. I mean, she's just an adaptation. Of course, they're going to be using stock footage. Stop making that as a reason to hate it. That's an adaptation for a reason. But people are mad about this. I'm actually kind of interested to see how this is done because it's a different approach. At least we're getting the suits for one thing. Two, I don't care. I'm getting a Mobirate here, even if it is the English version. I'm getting the keys too. I'm actually kind of happy to see that we're even getting these. I'm okay with it. I think I made that obvious. I just hope they don't mess it up. Super Mega Force is supposed to be 20 episodes long. This is the 20th anniversary of Power Rangers, but we don't have 20 teams. See, Mighty Morphin covered 3 seasons, so that's 1. If you want to count the Alien Rangers, it's 2, but I won't, not yet. Zeo, Turbo, Space, Galaxy, Lightspeed, Time Force, Wild Force, Ninja Storm, Dino Thunder, SPD, that's 11. Mystic Force, Overdrive, Jungle Fury, Samurai, no, RPM, Samurai, and then Megaforce, so 17 teams actually. 18 if you want to count the aliens. So we should hopefully get at least one tribute episode to every team. Hopefully. We don't have 20 teams. We have about 17 or 18 depending on if you want to count the Alien Rangers as a team or not. There's still debate going around if they're even still technically considered a team, because it seems like they're getting left out a lot of things here. Because in that Go Say More for Megaforce, someone found all of the voice cues for like cards and stuff, and the Alien Rangers didn't have a thing. So are the Alien Rangers gonna get cards? For that card game? That's still up in the air. We don't know yet. And I hope they do, because they're a team, dang it. It'd be kind of suck if you left them out. Yeah, even though they had only, what, 13 episodes to themselves, I still want to see them get some kind of tribute. So I'm actually really, really excited to see how Super Mega Force goes. Too bad it won't be until next year, on the 21st anniversary, because they didn't think that through very well, did they? They did. So yeah. So that's that. I'm currently rewatching some old seasons that I missed. RPM, Lightspeed Rescue are the first two I'm going to review more than likely. Maybe Lightspeed Rescue will come after In Space, depending on how long it takes me to finish In Space. And SPD is the season I missed and I'm currently watching for the first time right now. So RPM is the first Power Ranger season I'll be reviewing, and it'll be the next thing that I'll come up on this channel review-wise. The next thing that might come up on this channel, I ordered, if you know the Hyrule Historia, that Zelda book that came out that everybody fell in love with, well, I'm not reviewing that. I'm reviewing the one that those people made for Sonic the Hedgehog. I ordered that, and I might do a little overview of that book when it gets here on Monday or Tuesday. I'm not much of a Zelda person. I respect the crap out of the franchise, and I love the music. I just don't like the games. That's just me, though. So yeah, RPM is going to be the first Power Ranger season I review, and I'm really looking forward to reviewing this one for the most part, because I don't necessarily agree with everybody else on how this season is. So, alright. I'll see you guys in like a week and a half, 2 weeks for that one. Just wish me luck on my finals. And this 5-page music paper I gotta write.